Hello and welcome to the Bucketlist Show. I'm Tammy Crandall with Journey Adventure Travel and Tours and Barron Real Estate, and I'm joined by my co-host
with Rebecca Denise from Barron Real Estate as well as Superior Storage.
And we are here to serve you to help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. And the way that we do that varies. For some people, it's riding a bicycle for the first time. For others, it's about doing some paddleboarding, buying a house for the first time, investing in that first property.
Absolutely.
So it varies, right? It's different for everybody. And so we're going to talk today. We've got a focus on women-owned or managed businesses. So we're bringing some of our partners that we see every day. So we are so happy to have Rhianna Straker join us. Thank you for joining us, Rhianna.
Welcome.
Yeah, she is with Surefire Medical Protection. She's a member of the Owens Insurance Group. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I did it right. All right. So how long have you been doing this with Surefire under your business name? And what made you decide to do that?
So I have been an insurance agent since 2020, the end of 2020.
Wow.
But with Surefire Medical Protection and Owen Insurance Group, it's coming up to 2 years this May.
Wow.
But I worked for doctor's offices, did a lot of verifying of insurance, and then I was the bill collector. So then I had to explain to them why they had a bill. So I learned a lot about health insurance, and I didn't want to work front desk at a doctor's office forever. I wanted something where I can be my own boss, make my own schedule, essentially be an educator, because that's what I am first. And so I decided to get my license.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's a big bear. So for a little bit during COVID, I worked for Florida Blue, just at home, just doing some sales. And it really is a maze of information. So the idea that you said educate first is key.
Oh, sure. And there's so much of that. So your predominant focus, just so our listeners and watchers, is predominantly on the medical side of insurance. Is that correct?
Right. So my main thing is, or my license is in health insurance.
Okay.
My main focus is Medicare Marketplace, but then I'm in most of the umbrella, is what I like to say, for health insurance.
So that's where the medical protection comes from.
Right, exactly.
So they're getting what they need, and which again is just very confusing, that whole Medicare platform. So that's great that you know it and you could help people.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the fact that, because the education component is such a strong part. So what is it that you did prior to this?
Again, I worked for medical facilities, front desk, check-in, check-out, primary care, urgent care, a couple other things. But before that, I was actually a teacher. I was a preschool teacher, mostly with 2-year-olds.
Wow.
Got into substitute teaching with the school board, got my associates in English education, got halfway through my bachelor's degree in elementary education. So I've always wanted to be a teacher. But they ask for too much and give back too little.
Oh, gotcha.
I just didn't want that stress. So I decided to get out of that. So I'm an educator in a different way.
Well, listen, we all have to teach each other and help each other, whichever word we want to align with it. I mean, if Tammy and I have a customer, we're going to go through the steps. So you want everybody to be comfortable and know what it entails. But I know for me, insurance just seems like a big, big bear. But it's good that for you, you're comfortable. So you're still teaching, so that's a win-win.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing. So what is the process when somebody comes to work with you, if they've got inquiries? How does that work?
So everybody is different. They get a little bit of different from me depending on what their knowledge is, what their situation is. But everybody, what I do is what's called a need analysis. And it's basically just kind of learning more about them, what their situation is, what their needs are, both financially and health-wise, and just seeing what they need. And then, of course, because it's health insurance, what doctors are important to them, what medications they may take, things like that. Because with health insurance, you want the coverage, otherwise why have it?
Right.
So those things are very important. So finding out what that is.
Now, is there a cost for that consultation when you sit with them? Is there a cost to them?
So no, there is no cost. because the health insurance agency or companies pay me.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, gotcha.
So do you have a storefront, or is it, do you?
Yes.
Oh, you have
So
a company,
I'm
okay.
working out of the Fort Pierce office for Owen Insurance
Okay.
Group.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. And then you have your own company kind of umbrella under that.
Right.
Okay,
So a lot of
perfect.
independent agents kind of like to self-brand themselves with their own company name,
Right.
and that's where Surefire Medical Protection comes
Perfect.
from.
Of course.
And then I signed through an FMO. Don't ask me what it stands for because I can never remember. But that's the agency that kind of helps make sure that I get all my contracts and do what I need to
Okay.
do for the contracts.
Gotcha.
And then there's a little bit of a support where I need it.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
And then I seen that you have multiple states. So are you licensed in Florida, or are you also licensed in those other states that were listed?
Yes, so you are always primarily licensed in the state that you live in. So
Okay.
I'm licensed in the state of Florida. That means I can help everybody, all the residents in the state of Florida.
Okay.
I'm also licensed in Tennessee, North Carolina, and Michigan.
Okay.
I wasn't doing any business of Arizona, so I just recently lost
Okay.
that one because
Yeah, if you're not
pick
doing-
it up if I'm not using it.
Right.
But yes, I
Okay.
also can assist in the other states.
So do you network in those other states or advertise so they could find you?
I don't,
Okay.
which might be a good idea to do. I've got a couple of family members up in Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
we know people, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So Tennessee is just really just my family that I've so far
perfect.
helped.
Okay.
And then they can always say, hey,
Word of mouth.
my family member is an insurance agent.
Oh,
yeah.
very good.
What about someone who's the snowbirds? So when they get insurance, they got to get it into the state that they're actually the primary residents?
Right.
Okay.
Right, so it's
So-
their primary residence where they file like their taxes are
And that's
listed
how-
as their
okay.
primary residence. is
Okay.
the state that
That's
they
an
go by.
interesting factoid that
Well,
I didn't
especially
know.
here, yeah, I
Right.
wasn't sure. Because I would imagine if they have a house here, most of them are going to say they're residents here because it's cheaper with the
Well-
taxes and, no income tax, maybe, I don't know.
It depends on what
Yeah,
state, maybe.
Right, it depends on them individually,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's wherever they're listed as their primary residence.
Now, when a client wants to meet with you, do they come to your office? Do you do this concierge style? How does that work?
I pretty much leave it up to their comfort.
Okay.
They can come to me in the office now that I finally got that option, or I will go to them to their home. If they prefer to not do either, I'll even meet them somewhere. I've met
Okay.
a couple people
Okay.
that like Panera Bread, things like that.
Oh, Panera is a popular place.
Yes.
I
I've done a lot of business at Panera
I know.
Bread.
They should charge a
Not
seat
that I'm
charge.
plugging for them,
I
but
know.
but I could do business there all day long sometimes.
Well, what a great option because it's already stressful enough that they know they need to change it out of the year or they have a changed circumstance and they need it.
Right.
But the idea that you could go to them, especially if they're elderly or they're currently sick, so that does make it a little bit easier because it's so much information.
Right.
And then, add the doctors and the medicine, it becomes, it's time consuming on your end to really do a needs analysis.
Right.
So when you do the needs analysis, does it normally take a couple days to try to search out the best program or plan, or is it something that you kind of do simultaneously?
I wouldn't say it takes me a couple of days. It
Okay.
kind of just depends on what I've got on my plate for that day. Depends on what to the extent of their needs are. But I have, especially for Medicare, for an Advantage plan, I've created a spreadsheet. And that helps me go through them a lot quicker because there's so many different carriers
Yeah.
that I'm with. I can't remember where all of which is which.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know an idea, but I have a spreadsheet and then I just take that and kind of narrow it down. So it can be pretty quick,
Oh, good.
within a couple of hours if I have that
Perfect.
time. And then it just becomes a back-to-back on everybody else's schedule on how long the actual process takes.
Right.
But for
Perfect.
me, individually, I can easily have it sometimes even a half hour.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Gotcha.
So,
And then you're going to place them with the right insurance agency. So you don't do any of the billing. You're just going to place them with the insurance agency, get the plan started. So that works. And then hopefully they'll come back to you next year.
right. So as an insurance agent and an independent insurance agent, I'm their agent of record.
Okay.
So not only do I help them find the plan and help them with the enrollment, but for most companies, I can help with getting their ID card and helping with getting a lot of different answers so they don't have to call that 800
Perfect.
number. Some of them I can even change their doctor listed in their insurance name. It just depends on which company it is.
Right.
And then I'm also there if they have any questions. You know, like you've said several times, it's a complex subject.
Yeah, it's very.
And we can go through all the details
Right.
at our meeting, but how much of it are you going to actually remember?
Right.
So
Right,
just remembering what benefits that you have that you can use and how it works, things like that, I'm available.
So then those clients or potential clients to you that are transitioning, you know, and when I say transitioning, they're hitting that age of 62.
Yeah.
And now their insurance needs or wants are going to change just a little bit, right? So are you helping them with their initial plan through Medicare and the backups to it? How does that work?
So first off, Medicare is 65.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry, you're right.
It's okay.
And it's
Social
mandatory.
Shows you why I'm not
Security
insurance.
Can be as low as 62. But yes, there's a process, and so everybody is different. If they're already receiving Social Security, they'll automatically be enrolled in
Okay.
Medicare. If they're not receiving Social Security already, then you have to go in and do it yourself. And so I don't work for Social Security, so I'm very limited that I can
Right.
get you the right numbers or the right paperwork that you may
Of
need
course.
to lead you to
Okay.
the right direction for that Medicare. But you don't want to just stop at original Medicare. And so then that's more so
You
where
want a
I come in.
supplemental.
It's
Right.
a supplement or the Advantage plan, things like that to help.
And it's mandatory once you get 65 that you have to get Medicare, right? Even if you have insurance?
Yes and no.
Okay.
If you have what's called credible coverage, which is typically through an employer, you can just select Part A, which is your hospital coverage. And as long as you've been putting into your Medicare taxes for at least 10 years, it's no extra cost
Okay.
typically for you.
Perfect.
So it's extra coverage for you, might as well have it.
Okay.
If you're getting credible coverage like through the employer, you can ask to delay your Part B. And with
Okay.
that, there won't be a penalty because you had the credible coverage.
Okay, perfect.
If you don't have other coverage like through an employer, something like that, then yes, you can be penalized for not getting it when you
Okay.
first
Oh,
become
wow.
eligible.
Yeah, it's very complex.
That
And then
is.
there's an open season to change it, right?
Yes and no. If you go with a supplement plan, ideally that's the plan you're gonna continue to keep for the rest of your
Okay.
life.
Okay.
What would change would be like through the annual enrollment period is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
Which is when you change your prescription drug plan.
Oh.
Or if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, that's when you would change that.
Okay.
If
It's
you
a
want
lot.
to, it's not required.
Yeah, it's a
but
lot.
a lot of plans change, even sometimes just a small thing every year, or they have new plans that become available, or they decide that they no longer want this plan available. So a review every year is definitely recommended.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
There's a lot to it.
It is a lot to it, and we're going to get back. We're going to take a small break, and then we're going to go back to that subject, and we'll continue from there.
Perfect.
Journaventure Travel and Tours, where it's about your journey, not just the destination. Picture a world full of amazing places yet to be discovered. Where do you begin? Whether your bucket list includes cruising in the Caribbean, exploring vast nature in Alaska, or experiencing exotic worldwide places, we're here to help you fill your bucket to live your most abundant life. Your journey begins from the moment you let go and let us handle the details for you. So call us today. Journaventure Travel and Tours, 772-882.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Rebecca Denise from the Bucketlist Show. And again, the show was created for the intention that everyone fills their bucket to live their most abundant life. And we're going to continue with Rhianna. Correct? I said it right?
Rhianna, yes.
Rhianna. I'm sorry, my apologies. So I know we've talked a lot about insurance with Medicare and the enrollment and a little bit of that. Do you offer any other type of insurance?
Yes. I also focus a lot on the marketplace.
Okay.
I also do private plans for under 65 that are not yet qualified for Medicare.
Okay.
I do a lot of what's called the ancillary plans, which kind of help fill those gaps. So dental, vision, hospital indemnity, even cancer policies.
Okay, nice. And what is the marketplace for our listeners and people who are watching?
So that is offered by individual companies, but it's kind of ran with the government.
Okay.
So with the Affordable Care Act,
Okay.
a lot of people know it as Obamacare because
Okay.
he's the one who helped create it. It's basically a offer to health insurance, so that way if you have a pre-existing condition, you won't be denied like what you can be
Okay.
with a private plan. It also offers the possibility of what's called a tax credit or a subsidy,
Okay.
which is essentially the government helping individuals
very
or families pay for their premium.
So if someone didn't have insurance for whatever reason, they could look to you on the marketplace and get insurance. And is it still required that everybody has insurance?
No, it
Oh,
is
that-
no
that-
longer required.
okay,
There
I
is no
wasn't
longer
sure.
a penalty.
Okay, because I remember that in the
But
years past.
my understanding is even with the marketplace, it can be quite confusing for people to try to make a decision on their own. They're not sure all the nuances of the plans. So is that something that you sit down and help them decipher that or interpret that for them?
Yes, 100%. Again, it comes down to the needs and the focus of the needs of, what can they afford every month? How often do you go to the doctor? What kind of doctors are you seeing? If you're expecting anything, like with Medicare Advantage, Marketplace, you can change every year.
Okay.
So the main focus is really what you expect this year, to see what kind of plan to get you in, because there's a lot of different parts and a lot of different things. to
Which
look
really
at.
is something that you just said really resonates with me in that the your needs are going to change
Right.
over time.
Yeah.
So something that you're in a plan for in your 40s is not going to be the same at the age of 60. You're going to have some very different
Oh, yeah.
needs, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, your
Okay.
medication may change, your doctor list may change.
Exactly.
So, and you can only have one primary care doctor, right? Is that still relative?
Ideally,
Yeah.
because the primary care doctor is essentially that person who kind of really manages
Okay.
your medical needs. So that's why you kind of want to stay with one
Okay.
primary. Now, if you're with a PPO network, you could essentially have more than one.
Okay.
But with an HMO, you definitely need only one.
Okay.
Is there anything that you prefer, like an HMO over a PPO, or it's just, again, based on the person's needs?
It's definitely based
Okay.
on the needs. If you don't go to the doctor very often, you want something that's lower cost. An
Yeah.
HMO may be more suitable for you. If you go to a lot of doctors, especially in several different areas, then a PPO may be.
Okay, I don't even
Okay.
know what I have. Is that terrible? Everybody probably says that for you. So besides insurance, so what do you do for fun?
Well, I have 2 kids,
Oh, nice.
2 girls, so they take up a lot of my time finding things to do for them and keep them entertained. I'm also very much a homebody, so stay at home and relax if I can and watch movies. But I'm also a big Disney person. We're pass holders, so
Oh,
we
good.
go to Disney at least once a month. We can.
My son has been like 3 times already here, and I'm like, it's the same though. I just don't.
It's
not.
never the
See,
same.
I don't see
Never
that.
the same.
There's 4 parks for
Yeah.
one thing, and
Yeah.
then even then, there's so much to do that
Oh, there is.
it's a different experience.
Well,
every
and there's
time.
so, like some people don't even, and I'm sure since you follow Disney, I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize like they have all these cool like scavenger hunt things that you can do in the variety of parks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I
I just figured if I have to go on It's a Small World one more time, I'd be like, and I said to my son last year, he brought his daughter, and she was 2 last year. So I said to my other daughter and everybody else, I said, I'm done. Grandma's done. This is the last time I'm going to It's a Small World. But I would go
yeah.
again.
We go to It's Small World probably every time, if not most times
Yeah.
that we go, and it doesn't get old for me. I sing the songs.
Hey, listen,
So
I like to
have
go.
to introduce you to my daughter-in-law then.
Yeah.
She would
See,
love it.
Yeah, and I like to do those things in the Disney park too.
Yeah.
And most of the time, when the kids were younger. They're all grown now, but when they were younger, you know, we always went in the summertime when they were out of school. You know, we had a strict rule: we're not pulling you out of school for a vacation. We just didn't do that.
I didn't have that rule.
And but because of that, you know, we live here in sunny South Florida. That means you're in Disney in July, and it's very hot.
Yeah.
So It's a Small World was like the cooling place.
Yeah. I do want to go to Epcot again. So he's going to do it again when she's 3 in June. So I'll go to Epcot because I haven't been there in like 30 years.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is there's a lot of rides and a lot of things that have been there since opening, but then there's a lot of things that have changed.
Yeah.
Either new rides or rethemed and things like that. So that it's in itself can be a big change.
And especially if you're a pass holder, that does make a big difference.
Yeah.
So how old are your girls?
10 and 5.
Oh, geez. So they
that's
probably
fun.
love it.
I think I love it a little bit more than they do.
Oh, do they?
But yeah, they're
Have
also
you done
big
Bibbidi
fans.
Bobbidi Boutique for them?
I have not.
Yeah.
What
I
is that?
was-
Yet.
I was thinking about it, but haven't gotten to it. It's
Oh.
basically
You have to tell me
where
later.
We would love it.
they dress up. They can do girls or boys, but essentially it's more popular for the girls. And it depends on which package you go with, but you can pick a princess and they doll you up.
They
like
do
that
their
princess,
hair.
and
Oh, she
do
would
their
love
hair,
that.
You can do makeup.
I'll have to
you
look
can
at that.
do
Maybe for
outfit.
Yeah, at the
birthday.
Cinderella's castle. Yeah.
How nice. Do you stay overnight or do you stay in Disney or do you just do a day trip?
It depends.
Okay.
On how much money I want to spend and how
Right.
long we
Oh,
want to
sure.
plan for. But usually, if we stay off property, but it's still rather close, no more than
Right.
20 minutes away from
Okay.
Disney property. But a lot of the times we'll go up that morning and come back the same night.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause it's not that far.
Right.
Yeah, we're fortunate to live in an area where
Yeah.
it's not that long
Yeah,
a
it's
drive,
easy.
really, in the grand scheme. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
it
can
is
see that.
amazing what they've done with it. But yeah, so I don't know if I could do every month, but if you know it as well as you do.
I have to take her to Disney now.
I
just
know,
have
'cause I
to
didn't even
because
hear about that.
You haven't had the adulting experience at
No.
Disney.
And
I'm
you know,
sorry.
one
I
of
know
my-
some people think it's weird for adults to do Disney, but I could totally
My
do
good
Disney
friend and her
without
sister,
kids.
they go like every month too. I'm like, what are you doing that I'm missing? Is there like a secret passage or?
There's just so much to do.
Yeah.
You can have a different experience, you know,
Yeah.
like Animal Kingdom, you can be a wilderness explorer and you're going
Yeah.
through all the sections and focusing on trying to do those little activities, the scavenger hunts.
I didn't know
Well,
that either.
Epcot has a really cool scavenger hunt. They have all these like what we call Easter eggs,
Yep.
like things that are
Okay.
hidden that you just don't know.
I didn't know that.
And so you go through and you've got these little almost like cell phone style things
Yeah.
that almost act like activators, like things that are hidden behind windows that move.
Jeez. I'm gonna have to go research. Next time I go, I'm gonna call you, and then you can tell me where I need to go.
And yeah.
Yeah, and then the different seasons too, especially Epcot will have different scavenger hunts and things like
Okay.
that.
And they do so many different things too. And I'm sure this is where your family, like you said, you mentioned the different seasons. So, they always have, something for Halloween. They always have something for the Christmas holiday. They have
nice.
something in the spring where they do food and wine
Yeah, they have a
or the
and
food
wine festival. They have
festivals.
an arts
Well, that sounds good.
festival.
Art sounds good too.
They have
well,
the
I'll have to-
garden
I'll have to
festival.
pay attention. I didn't even finish my last ticket. I had one ticket left and I never used it because I bought like a 3-day pass.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I should have used it.
Yeah.
Darn.
We're going to get you back there. We're going to get you back there, Rebecca.
Maybe we'll do like a
Yeah, we'll
network
do-
innovate.
yeah.
All of us go to Disney
we all
with the
go.
I'm
kids.
down
Yeah.
with that.
Okay. Oh, listen, then that's what we got to plan that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
fun. It would
good.
be fun. So we're getting to a point that unfortunately this time
Yep.
always goes by so fast. But so we got to wrap it up. But I'm sure that there are people out there who are interested in asking you questions. So if you could share with them, how do they best reach you to set up some time to meet with you?
Probably the easiest, most direct is my cell phone,
Okay.
772-307-4643. But my website, my email, Facebook, I'm there. I got a lot of different ways to contact
Good.
me.
And we'll share that once we post that,
Perfect.
so everyone will see all that information shared.
Okay,
Perfect.
fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic. Well, we are always looking forward to setting up shows just like this. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us,
you.
Rhianna. And again, Rhianna with Surefire Medical Protection, which is a member of Owens Insurance Group.
Correct.
And, so if you want to meet with her, make sure you contact her. We would love to bring more, like you, different materials, other women-owned or managed businesses. If you have ideas or suggestions about what you'd like to bring to the show, please reach out to me. Again, I'm Tammy Crandall with Journ Adventure Travel and Tours and Barron Real Estate. I can be reached at 772-579-9536.
And I am Rebecca Denise. You could reach me at 203-482-7297. Be kind, everybody.
See you next time.